Welcome to the deep dive. Okay, today we're kind of on a mission. We want to find the actual physical ground zero for the RC hobby shop.
Yeah, not just where someone first stuck a radio in a car, but where it all came together,
Yeah.
The community, the business side, the tech, the whole package in one spot.
And the answer we've landed on, looking at the sources, it isn't some simple storefront that just opened one day.
No, not at all. It seems to be this evolutionary place, a hybrid, really. We're pointing to Associated Raceway, founded way back in 1964, Linwood, California.
Okay, 1964. But let's get some context. Remote control itself wasn't new, right? Tesla demoed it in, what, 1898?
Yeah, and World War II really pushed radio tech forward massively.
So why the big delay for RC cars? RC planes were already a thing. People knew about the Goods Guff plane from the late 30s.
The critical problem was, well, vibration. Simple physics, really.
Vibration.
Yeah. Think about those early radio systems. Delicate vacuum tubes, then very early fragile transistors. They worked okay, even beautifully, in an airplane gliding smoothly through the air. But put that same sensitive gear into a car chassis, bouncing over bumps, hitting things. The vibrations just destroyed them. Or at least made them unreliable. They couldn't handle the jarring.
Right, so ground vehicles were just too rough an environment initially.
Exactly. Engineers needed better stabilization, better ways to insulate the electronics before cars could really work reliably.
So RC cars didn't just spring up fully formed, they were sort of synthesized.
That's a great way to put it. They borrowed heavily from existing hobbies. The radio gear, like the Orbit 4 channel system that early guys like Ken Balls were using, that came straight from the RC aircraft world.
Okay, makes sense. And the other half?
That came from the huge slot car craze that was peaking right around then. That provided the chassis designs, the idea of competitive racing formats, and crucially, a massive base of interested hobbyists already tinkering with small electric cars.
So you have the radio tech from planes, the car chassis and racing ideas from slot cars. It just needed a spark.
It needed a product, really, something people could actually buy off the shelf. And that arrived in 1966. An Italian company, LG Elettronica Giocattoli, they released this Ferrari 250 LM.
The LG Ferrari. I've seen pictures.
That was arguably the first commercially successful, ready-to-go RC car. That opened the door for a real consumer market, a reason for shops to exist beyond just hardcore builders.
And Associated Raceway was right there, perfectly positioned in Southern California when this happened. But who started it? You said 1964. That's before the LG car.
Right. The founders were Roger Curtis and Lee Urata, and get this, they were technicians, skilled guys from the Douglas Aerophysics Laboratory, aerospace engineers.
Wow, aerospace guys starting a slot car track in Linwood on Long Beach Boulevard.
Yep. Seems they saw an opportunity, maybe applying their precision engineering skills to slot car parts. They weren't just running a track, they were making things.
And that feels like the key innovation here. It wasn't just a shop or just a track.
Exactly. Associated Raceway nailed this three-part model that basically became the template for modern hobby shops.
Okay, break that down. What were the three parts?
First, it was a venue, a place to race, a commercial slot car track and drag strip where the community could gather and compete.
Right, the social hub.
Second, they were a manufacturer. They had facilities on site, making and selling, and I quote, a full line of slot car parts, chassis, and accessories. They were building their own products.
Okay, manufacturing on site, that's different.
And third, it was a retail storefront, a place to sell the stuff they made, directly to the racers using their track. So track, factory, shop, all integrated.
That integration is fascinating. Venue, manufacturer, retailer, all in one.
It was incredibly adaptive, too. Because when the slot car boom started to fade a bit later in the 60s...
They had the skills and the setup ready for the next thing, which was RC cars.
Precisely. They could pivot. They already knew how to make small precision parts. They had the customer base. The real shift happened in 1970. Lee Urata sold his share to a guy named Gene Husting.
Gene Husting, another key name in early RC racing.
Yeah. And Husting's involvement really focused the company squarely on RC. That's when they became Team Associated, the name we know today, pushing hard into RC car development and manufacturing.
And Southern California was the perfect incubator for this, wasn't it?
Absolutely. You had this amazing ecosystem, a huge pool of aerospace and engineering talent, like Curtis and Urata themselves. You had a massive, ingrained car culture, and you had all that existing slot car infrastructure, the tracks, the suppliers, the hobbyists ready to be adapted.
It all just converged there. And then the racing side got organized pretty quickly, too.
It did. Just 3 years after Associated Raceway opened, in 1967, another crucial development happened nearby in Anaheim. George Sipos founded ROAR.
Roar Radio-Operated Auto Racers, the governing body.
Right. ROAR created standardized rules, classes, race procedures. That formalized competition made the market explode. Now manufacturers like Associated knew exactly what kind of cars to build for sanctioned racing. It legitimized the whole thing.
So Associated Raceway provided the commercial template, and RAR provided the competitive structure.
And that structure allowed the innovations happening in SoCal to spread globally. It created a predictable market.
Okay, so we've traced the origins. But what about the legacy today? Can you actually go visit that original building in Linwood? Is there a plaque, a museum dedicated to Associated Raceway?
Sadly, no. The specific original building on Long Beach Boulevard seems to be lost to time. There's no monument you can visit, marking that exact spot.
That's a bit disappointing.
It is, in a way, but maybe the legacy isn't meant to be tied to one specific building. The true pilgrimage sites, if you want to call them that, aren't static, they're living things.
You mean like the modern headquarters of companies like Team Associated now in Lake Forest?
That's part of it, sure, but I think it's even broader. The real legacy lives on in the racetracks all over the world.
Ah, from the local club tracks where people race every weekend.
All the way up to the IFMAir World Championships.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, Team Associated won for the first time back in 1977, cementing that transition from slot cars to RC dominance.
Okay, so the spirit of that first hybrid shop, the community, the innovation, the competition, it's not in the original bricks and mortar.
Exactly. It's out there on the tracks, in the pits, in the workshops of builders and racers everywhere. That first shop helped commercialize and structure a hobby, but the legacy isn't a building. It's the vibrant, global, and constantly evolving community itself. That's where you find the spirit of 64 Linwood today.